Morning students, welcome to online English language class. So we are in lesson 4, story by the author Roald Dahl. Name of the story, Going Solo. Here solo means alone. The story is the autobiography of the author. It is about his life as a worker with the Shell Company and RAF fighter pilot. Actually, during the Second World War, he served in the Royal Air Force of UK, in short, which is known as RAF. In our last class, we already read half of the story. It was, there were 3 instructors and 3 planes at the aerodrome. The planes were Tiger Moth, which were primary trainer aircraft with very powerful engine, and it was able to perform complex movements. When one pilot fly a military aeroplane, he sit on his own parachute. Every military pilot has a parachute of his own for any emergency, so that he or she should sit on the parachute. So the parachute adds about 6 inches to the pilot's height. As the author was tall, his head stuck up in the open air when he sits on cockpit of Tiger Moth first time. The blowing air made him unable to breathe, but he managed the situation using a thin cotton scarf around mouth and nose. Now I am going to tell you the rest of the story. So listen it carefully. I see from my logbook, which I still have, that I went solo after 7 hours 40 minutes, which was about average. And RAF pilot's logbook, by the way, is or certainly was in those days quite a formidable affair. Formidable means it is very impressive or very important. It was an almost square 8 inches by 9 inches book, 1 inch thick and bound between 2 very hard covers faced with blue canvas. You never lost your logbook. It contained a record of every flight you had ever made, as well as the plane you were flying, the purpose and destination of the trip, and the time you had spent in the air. Actually, here logbook is very important. Here the author tells us that logbook is very important for RAF pilots. It is a book which contains record of every flight a pilot made, total time in air, and purpose and destination of the flight. Here the author tells us when he wrote the story, till then he maintained his logbook. So next stanza is, after I had gone solo, I was allowed to go up alone for much of the time, and it was wonderful. How many young men, I kept asking myself, were lucky enough to be allowed to go whizzing and soaring through the sky above a country as beautiful as Kenya? Even the aeroplane and the petrol were free. In the Great Rift Valley, the big game and the smaller game were as plentiful as cows on a dairy farm. Actually, the author tells us that at Great Rift Valley, he can saw the many big and small animals as plentiful as cows on a dairy farm. And I flew low in my little Tiger Moth to look at them. Oh, the animals I saw every day from the cockpit. Whenever he flew very low, and from cockpit he could saw the animals in the forest. I would fly for long periods at a height of no more than 60 or 70 feet, gazing down at huge herds of buffalo and wild beasts which would stampede in all directions as I whizzed over. From an illustrated book I had bought in Nairobi, I learned to recognize kudu. Kudu, a type of deer actually. Kudu, Thompson's gazelle, cland, impala and many other animals. These all are animals, types of animals. I saw plenty of giraffe and rhino and elephant and lion, and once I spotted a leopard slick as silk lying along the trunk of a large tree. Actually, here the author in this stanza, the author tells us that sometimes after flying solo, he was in the sky above the beautiful country Kenya. Kenya is located in Eastern Africa, So, he thought himself lucky to fly above the wonderful land free of cost. When he flew over the Great Rift Valley, he flew low to watch the wild animals. There were huge herds of buffalo, wild beast, kudu and many more animals, giraffe, rhino, elephant, lion, etc. Once he noticed a leopard lying on a tree trunk, watching the group of impala to jump on them to have dinner. He flew over the lake Nakuru, Mount Kenya in Tiger Moth. So, I am telling you this part. The leopard, as the leopard lying along a trunk of a large tree, and he is the leopard here. He was watching some impala gazing below him and deciding which one to have for his dinner. I flew over the pink flamingos on Lake Nakuru, and I flew all the way around the snow summit of Mount Kenya in my trusty little tiger moth. What a fortunate fellow I am, I kept telling myself. Nobody has ever had such a lovely time as this. So, the author thought that he is very much fortunate to have such scenes which he experienced. Okay. Now, here in this story, Roald Dahl includes a letter he wrote to his mother at about the time he was learning to fly. And now I am going to tell you the letter the author wrote to his mother. Nairobi, 4th December 1939. Dear Mama, I am having a lovely time. Have never enjoyed myself so much. I have been sworn into the RAF proper, and I am definitely in it now until the end of the war. So the author here wrote his mother that he promised the RAF to continue his service until the end of the war. My rank, a leading aircraftman with every opportunity of becoming a pilot officer in a few months if I don't make a BF of myself. No boys to do everything for me anymore. So in the army, every person should do his or her work on his own. Okay, so the author told his mother that get your own food, wash your own knives and forks, fold up your own clothes, and in short, do everything for yourself. I suppose I'd better not say too much about what we do or where we are going, because the letter would probably be torn up by the censor. But we wake at 5:30 am, drill before breakfast till 7 am, fly and attend lectures till 12:30, 12:30 or 1:30 lunch, 1:30 to 6 pm flying and lectures. The flying is grand and our instructions are extremely pleasant and proficient. With any luck, I'll be flying solo by end of the week. So this was the letter which the author Roald Dahl wrote to his mother. And here censor means that censor here as the army person can't allow any much more informations to other person. So the censor here referred to that. Censor means the person who examines the soldier's communication for sensitive information. So that's all for today, and I'll discuss in our next class the question answers on this prose. And so okay, bye till our next class.